How you doing, sir?
Hello.
What's your name and where are you from?
Yeah, my name is Greg Nichols. I'm from San Jose, California. I'm a member of the American GI Forum. I'm a national officer of the American GI Forum. I've been in the GI Forum for 25 years. And I know a lot of GI Forum members down here in Southern California, but I'm from up north in San Jose. I came here last year because I was assigned by the GI Forum to look into this issue that the VA hospital in West LA is really indifferent to the suffering of veterans. And so I came down really to look into that. And I found out that, yeah, the employees and so on, they're very indifferent. It's very difficult, really, if you're really destitute, to get any help from anybody around here. If you're a veteran, you should be able to go to the VA hospital. You should be able to go to the VA hospital and take a shower, get clean clothes, get a good meal, and then start getting medical care. And they make it very difficult for the veterans to do that. It seems the bureaucracy is not really interested in truly helping the homeless and the destitute veterans. So I came down here for 3 weeks in December, and I lived in this parking lot, and I made it known that this parking lot, 810 Pacific Coast Highway, was originally deeded to the residents of the veterans home that is called West LA VA. All of that property, 900 acres up there and 10 acres down here, were deeded to the veterans of the home.
By whom, may I ask?
There was a couple families, and there was also a U.S. senator from California that deeded that land in 1888, and this is part of that land. And
they wanted this land to specifically go to the VAs and the veterans?
Yes, this land was a separate deed, but it was deeded to the residents of the home for disabled volunteer soldiers. The home for disabled volunteer soldiers was originally 300 acres, which they built up to 915 acres, and that was supposedly a Western home for disabled volunteer soldiers. So it's a home, think about it, home for disabled volunteer soldiers. At that time, it was a lot of soldiers from the Civil War. But they recognized that there was going to be a need for a home for disabled soldiers. So they, at the turn of the century, California Veterans Administration created a home there, and there's quite a few buildings that were built in the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, and it was a thriving community up through the 1950s and 60s. There was almost 3,000 people lived there. And I don't know what was happening with the property down here, but I believe that the city at some point declared that this property was abandoned, and then basically took it over and turned it into a parking lot. Because in fact, this is prime beachfront property. In fact, there's a plaque right over here that says that American beach volleyball was founded here because the Hawaiian prince came over and he lived nearby, lived up on the bluffs, and this is where he was teaching people how to play beach volleyball. So this place supposedly is the founder of that. So of course, this is a highly prized spot during the summer, I assume. I found out during the winter when I stayed here, rather stealthily, that the private Jonathan Club, which is located right over there, pretty much uses this as their adjutant parking lot, or adjunct parking lot. This parking lot, when they are having soirees and events there, that if the people don't want to park or can't park in the valet parking, then they can park here. And the Jonathan Club has some kind of deal with the city where they control a lot of the parking permits for this place. And clearly in the morning when this place fills up, the employees of the Jonathan Club take up about probably, I would say, at least a third of this parking lot is being used by them. So I don't know what money they're making, but all of that money, the city money that they get from this should be going towards helping the homeless veterans pass through here. But that's not happening. In fact, they've used every method on me that they can. I've been here a week now. They've used every method they can to get me to leave.
When you say you've been here a week, oh, what do you mean a week? For
I
those
ca- I
who don't
came
know
here-
what you're doing right now.
I came here last Saturday. I drove down from San Jose. This is a Santa Monica parking lot number 8 Occupy movement, and I decided that.
So you're protesting.
I'm going to occupy this spot, this parking lot through the summer, and we're setting up a table with information. We're putting up signage and so on, and we're getting the word out that this lot is not owned by the city of Santa Monica. And we've had various statements so far. The Santa Monica chief of police finally said 2 days ago that this is a more of a protest than a homeless encampment. Everybody's terrified that they would set up a homeless encampment right next to the Jonathan Club. So literally, they're terrified of that. So every day, I don't know who, but they're getting an anonymous complaint that some homeless guy is in the camp. So when the police come, I explain to them that I'm not homeless. I have a home in San Jose, 300 miles away. I hope to go home at the end of the summer when this Occupy movement is working on its own. I came down here to start it, and I'm a reluctant pioneer in this matter. And so anyway, I had the tent set up. I arrived here Saturday afternoon. I stayed Saturday night. Sunday, I put up the tent. From the point that tent went up, it became a thorn in the city side. So started with parking lot, people came by, then it ended up right away police, and then the next day police, and then the next day police. So every day a new set of police comes by. So the latest agreement that I had with them was Friday night, and I have it on video. I put that on Facebook while they were here, and I agreed that I would take down the tent and I could leave it here in a pile. And you know what? I think that's symbolic of the way they treat the homeless veterans around here. They say, here, you can have a tent. Oh, you can't set it up here, So, that's a symbol. It's a symbol now. They made the symbol. They made the symbol by agreeing with me that I could have this tent here as long as it wasn't set up. So, like I say, that's indicative of how they're treating the homeless veterans, is that they're telling them you can have a tent, you just can't put it up. So I want the word to be out. And then, of course, you just missed them. There were 3 police came by 15 minutes ago, or maybe half an hour ago, that were trying to get me to take the tent away. And I'm like, I already made an agreement with the police. You guys keep doubling around, and you keep changing your terms. But you've agreed that I could have the tent there as long as it wasn't set up. So they made the symbol, not me, if you understand. So that's where we're at. I could tell you about the GI Forum if you'd like.
Yes.
So
please inform the viewers.
I'm a member of the GI Forum. I used to be a teacher in San Jose, California.
And for those that have no background into this, what is the GI Forum?
Yeah, the GI Forum's a national veterans organization. It's chartered by Congress. It's the only chartered congressional veterans organization that is a family organization. We are actually family can join our members and have equal voting rights with the veterans. So we've been around since 1948. It was founded in Texas when the veterans were coming back from World War II, the Hispanic veterans, and they were expected to be second-class citizens again, and they rebelled against that. And they would join the American Legion, or they'd try to join the American Legion and the VFWs, and they were told, no, we don't have Mexicans here. So they had to found their own. So they founded a veterans organization that is mostly Hispanics. centered in Texas, but from the forefront, we've been involved in civil rights. We think that veterans should get the full benefits that the VA has promised them, that the VA government was set up to take care of the veterans and their families and their widows. So, the fact that there's so many homeless veterans in this area, really the fact that the West LA VA is seemingly indifferent to the suffering of the local veterans. And I could go on about that, but there's people that are much more expert on that. But when I was assigned by the GI Forum, I'm the national secretary. I came down here last year to investigate the issue, and I started finding out how bad it is. So I came down here, let's say stealth. Nobody really in the VA knows me here. And I went down to the hospital and I started asking around, where can a veteran take a shower and get his clothes washed? And finally I found out, building 257, that's the Welcome Center. So I went to the Welcome Center. I went in there with a bag of clothes that I would have liked to wash and hoping to take a shower. I had to fill out a 3-page application. They were not really especially welcoming to me. And they laughed at me and said the washing machine didn't work. Well, here I am 6 months later, and the washing machine there at the Welcome Center still doesn't work. So there should be people fired at that Veterans Administration and Building 257, the Welcome Center, because for 6 months now, and they seem to be indifferent to that. And there's at least 200 homeless veterans in the immediate area of that VA hospital. And imagine if you were a homeless veteran and you finally got an appointment to see a doctor. So you go to the Welcome Center and you take a shower, but you can't wash your clothes. So you still got to put on stinky clothes and go in and see your doctor. This is appalling to me. And I'm outraged. So that's why I'm down here. And I wish, beauty and health and wealth to everybody. But it is time that we take care of our homeless, destitute veterans. I believe that.
And why should the average citizen care about what's going on right now with this land right here? Why should they take importance of it or even care about this issue?
Well, this land was deeded to the homeless veterans and disabled soldiers, and that's not really the use of it anymore. And so I really think that the money that is this income, this lot is full. There's 200 spots, and they're making at least $10 each. So there's $2,000 there. That represents an income just today, and tomorrow will be equally full. Yesterday was equally full. So there's $2,000 a day that they should be, instead of just throwing them into the city coffers, they should dedicate that to helping homeless veterans, right? And that would be an immediate thing to do. But the really overall citizens should be concerned because the West LA VA is wasting the money. See, they have programs like the Welcome Center that's supposed to be doing these things, and that they're budgeting money and they're allocating money. They're hiring people, and there's people that work there, but they've become, let's say, leeches on the American taxpayer. They're not doing what their job is, and they need to be. Some people need to be fired. Some people need to be straightened up, and it should be overseen. There should be some oversight, and we're pretty sure that the problem with the West LA VA is in the upper reaches of the management, that they're allowing the people that are supposed to be giving services to the veterans, they're allowing them to be indifferent to the suffering of veterans. So, it's a very complicated problem, but the taxpayers should be concerned because their money's being wasted. Their money is being wasted, and more and more is being poured at the homeless problem, but the homeless system is meant to not actually solve the problem, to keep it going so they have permanent jobs. I mean, it's unbelievable how the taxpayers are getting ripped off. So I think the taxpayers should be shocked and should educate themselves about this. And we do have a website. Facebook page is Facebook NHDVS, National Home for Disabled Volunteer Soldiers. And the website is NHDVS.net. And it's this group is. I only joined a year ago, and I was appalled. But I'm a leader. And so I couldn't just sit by. I have to come down here, and I intend to occupy this parking lot all summer. So that's it. I'm Greg Nichols from San Jose, California.
And have any major news organizations came by to cover this?
Not down here yet, and we're hearing that because it's a weekend, they're not sure if they really should. But I think they should, because I think especially the collapsed tent. That is a total shock to anybody that would understand that they're giving veterans tents, but they won't let them put them up. And I was told by the police that that's all throughout LA County, which got to be a lie. There's got to be somewhere where a homeless vet can set up a tent. But certainly they don't think this is a good spot, obviously.
Well, you see them set up all around town, so I don't see why they'd have a problem with this one.
Right. In fact, they should allow us to set up a veterans encampment and an intake for the hospital up the hill. You know, that's got its own set of problems up there, and they got the tiny homes and so on. But I'm just starting something, and I'm inviting especially veterans to come down, enjoy barbecue tomorrow. We're going to have information and set up information booth and so on. We're expecting to have a dozen or so people. I'd encourage people to come early, because obviously it's not even noon and this parking lot is completely full. So come early, get a spot, bring your veteran ID if you have it, because I'm telling the city, I've told them 6 months ago, my veteran ID is proof that I'm a disabled volunteer soldier. And I went in during the Vietnam era. And so I have a proof that's vetted by the U.S. Department of Defense that I am a disabled volunteer soldier. And so I am on that deed. I'm on that deed, and the city is not. So, they try to push me around, they try to scare me and so on, but I'm on that deed, and I'm staying here as long as I want. And I encourage my veteran brothers to come out too.
So is the city investigating this deed, or are they just brushing it aside and say they're not honoring it?
The local guys started going to the city council probably a year ago, and the city council, of course, this is a very uncomfortable issue for them. So the city council voted to have a title search done. So they're paying a lawyer, probably one of their favorite ones, $10,000 to search the title. But that was apparently October of last year. So now it's 8 months later. It's like, how long does it take to do a title search?
Wow, that's insane.
We already know that we already have the title search done. We did a title search a few years ago, so we know what's going to come out of it. So we had a meeting with the city manager. Well, I say we, but it's not me, but it's the GI Forum and the local advocates. And they met on film. The city manager admitted that the city doesn't own this property. Now they got to switch and dodge. So now they're saying that they're managing it for the state. So now we're asking, let's see the contract that you have that allows you to manage this property for the state, because I don't think even the state owns this lot. The state. The VA in 1923 took over the properties that were deeded to the western branch of the disabled volunteer soldiers. So the VA thinks that it controls the properties, but they have essentially, I think, abandoned this property. So that's why the city essentially turned it into a parking lot. And we're also pretty sure that the Jonathan Club is also on the Veterans. That in itself is a whole nother ball of wax, because the Jonathan Club is listed on the internet. It says it's one of the top 10 private clubs in the United States. So that's not just a bunch of surfers that have their own private club. This is one of the most richest clubs in the United States, and apparently they're squatting on veterans' land. Now I don't know that. I know that the deed encompasses the area directly down here that is essentially the parking lot. But whether it extends further than this parking lot, I don't really know. But I do know this parking lot encompasses it, and the Pacific Coast Highway right there. This was 1888, so there was just there was a horse trail went along there. Now it's a highway, but that's on veterans land. The bluffs are on veterans land. The city has tried to say that the part that the veterans own is the bluffs. It's like, yeah, okay, we were originally deeded the whole thing, but now we just get the cliffs. That's very much like a collapsed tent. Okay, this is. It's if it weren't so tragic, it'd be hilarious.
And what can people do, or how can they contact or support you if they hear about this and want to support this financially or in any way? What means would they be able to do it by?
Yeah,
through the email you just get me.
I would do the NHDVS.net. Those are the local guys, and they've put together a very thorough analysis of all this stuff. They have legal documents. They have recordings of the Veterans Administration meetings, the public meetings. They have recordings of all kinds of stuff. And in fact, it's almost overwhelming how much they have. So the first place I would go is the Facebook page, NHDVS, and that's more manageable, and that's talking about what's happening these days. So I think they're going to probably put up the video of me with the police this morning, because it was particularly rich. Now the police are basically saying that the agreement that I made with the police on Friday night of just having my collapsed tent here, that they don't think that that's a deal anymore. So we'll see. I mean, my attitude is that I'm here to obey the law. So if they order me to do something, I will do it. And they already ordered me to take this tent down once, and then I put it back up because they only ordered me to take it down once. And then the second time, then they ordered me. Then we made an agreement to take it down. So that's where we're at. I got a pile of tent there, and so I would encourage people to educate yourself. Educate yourself about the West LA VA issues. That's a whole cesspool of problems, and that's really the main issue. I'm just here to reclaim the parking lot part. And I expect that sooner or later we'll have a veterans community. The original intent of the people that donated the land was to have a thriving beach community for the veterans that were living at the home. And let's say for me, I'm under the care of the VA because I have cancer, and I have to go every so often, and I have cancer, have my treatments. And while I'm here for weeks at a time, then I should be able to come down and hang around at the beach. That was what the intention was. It should be the same facilities as the Jonathan Club has. There should be a swimming pool here, and the veterans have a beachfront home. So to find out that the city is claiming it, that's the part that makes me mad, is that the city knows they don't own it. So they're going to have to face the music, and I think it's going to be while I'm down here. I'm already creating huge waves, and there's people in DC and throughout the US that are interested because of my position. I'm a national secretary for a major veterans organization, and so anything they do to me has national ripples. So what can other people do? Educate yourself. I don't know. I realize it's going to take a long time to really unravel this, but there are some major players involved, and what I'm saying is that there's the Inspector General of the VA several years ago in 2018 issued a report about the West LA VA and said that 60% of the tenants on that land were there illegally. Now, the tenants on that land include UCLA, include Brentwood School, include, now they're building a Purple Line station, the second Purple Line station on that land. So there's a lot of tenants there that are there illegally. And so Well, after that report came out, 50% of those tenants left, but the other 50%, which you would say, well, 30% of the users of that land dug their heels in, and that includes UCLA, and that includes Brentwood School, and that includes several other entities that have no right to be there, and that's really the bigger issue. But while we're unraveling all that, we also need to begin unraveling the issue of the plot of land that's at 810 Pacific Coast Highway, which is the Veterans Home recreation area, let's say. So that's why I'm here. I'm pushing the issue, and I'm making it more well known. So I appreciate you putting this on Facebook for me.
Has the Jonathan Club specifically said in a statement to the city or just publicized in any publication that they want this land?
It's funny, the Jonathan Club and the city have contracts. We know that because I see Jonathan Club people giving out passes, parking passes for this parking lot. So they have some kind of agreement where they can give out passes for the city. And so I don't know if the city's doing that gratis or if they're making money on that deal, but that's just one of the benefits of having the Jonathan Club as your next door neighbor. And there's some other ones, I'm sure. What I see is that like yesterday when the city enforcement came around to give tickets to anybody that didn't have the permit, they only covered the half that's away from the Jonathan Club. They never came to the half near the Jonathan Club, presuming that if they gave a ticket on this side, it might piss off a judge or somebody like that. And also, the research is that the Jonathan Club board of directors includes the sheriff, either the past or the last sheriff. So there's political connections there. In fact, if you go to the Jonathan Club website, you'll find out that UCLA was founded at the Jonathan Club. So
interesting.
So
wow.
This is all power politics, really, at that level. And I'm just some little guy. So, we'll see what the Jonathan Club, their response is. Well, okay, let me tell you the one little story. Is Friday morning. 2 officers showed up. Now there's already been 7 cops here by then. 2 officers showed up and they wanted to know, and I'm like, you already know, and your cops came last night, and, so why don't you guys know? They said they were from the intelligence division, and it's like, you should know then why I'm here, etc. And they already knew that. They knew that, but they just wanted to try to get me. So anyway, when they were done, they left and they walked over to the Jonathan Club gate, and they're using the key to go in through the Jonathan Club. And I'm like, oh, I said, I grabbed my camera and went over and took a picture, and I said, I see who you work for. They're working for the Jonathan Club. That's the.
These were Santa Monica police officers.
Police officers. They had
part of the intelligence agency.
They said they
that
were
walked into the
unit,
Jonathan Club.
The intelligent unit, and they walked through the Jonathan Club. So they did a shutter, and then they said, well, we parked over there. It's like, yeah, you did, of course. We got a big parking lot, but they're the sneaky kind, so they come in, through the Jonathan Club. And it's like, hey, people, Today, it seemed to me they were Keystone cops because they had 3 cop cars parked here, and then one of the people come out of the club or whatever, get in their car, and they're kind of blocked in. So they started to pull out, and I thought they were going to sideswipe the cop car. And so, of course, I told the cops, you're blocking the traffic. I'm not blocking anything. And so they had to go and move their cars, and it really literally looked a little bit Keystone-ish. So I coined a new term today. Those cops here seem to be a little Keystone-ish. So that's about it. I was going to go for a walk until the cops showed up. But I think I will go for a walk. It's a beautiful day and it's noon. And I enjoyed here on the property that was deeded to the disabled volunteer soldiers.
Beautiful. Thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for coming by.
And I hope